What up, bitches? It's the Misanthropic One, aka He Who Hungers, and I'm back up in this bitch for another rant/review. Today, I want to talk about Common's latest album titled Nobody's Smiling. Alright, y'all know who Common is. Legendary MC from Chicago, aka Chi-Town. This album was highly anticipated because he was getting back with his frequent collaborative producer No ID, and No ID was doing every beat on this album. So I was excited myself when I heard that he was gonna get with No ID and put out a fucking album, because him and No ID have released classic shit such as Common's second album, Resurrection, One Day It'll All Make Sense, albums in that vein. So y'all should know who those two are by now. I'm not gonna, ramble on about their past. Y'all should know, if you're into hip hop, you know who those guys are. New fucking album. Y'all know I like the deluxe version. Deluxe version comes with the extra picture with Common's face in the middle with the two other faces on the side. The regular version just has Common staring at you. Great artwork, very dark, black and white. Has a bunch of black faces inside with the ripped photos. So it gives you kind of a feel of how the album is or should be. Now, on the production tip, I already mentioned No ID does all the beats on this shit. Feature-wise, on here you have Lil Herb, Cocaine 80s, Big Sean, Janae Aiko, Snow, Allegra, Dreezy, Malik Yusef, Elijah Burke, Vince Staples, and Cocaine 80s. Also, the deluxe edition comes with 3 bonus tracks right here. Yeah, I just mentioned the features. I'm just gonna get into this real quick because I really don't have much to say about this album. Pros and cons. Pros. Common is not a stranger to lyrical content. Most of his tracks, a lot of his tracks, he's either telling stories or he has strong lyrical content, and on this album that doesn't really waver. On this album he has a lot of themes that circle around Chicago, a lot of the black on black crime, which y'all know that I talk about on my channel. So I'm glad he touches on that. Hustle Harder, track 6, dope track, where he's talking about how some of these chicks hustle harder than dudes. She hustle harder than a nigga. That's the hook on there. Rewind that, dope track where he's talking about how he was building with No ID, and he eventually met JD, aka the late great Jay Dilla, how he put out the track Like Water for Chocolate. Dope storytelling track, one of my favorite tracks on there. Track 12, I really like. 7 Deadly Sins. It's just one whole track, no hook, where he's using the 7 deadly sins in his rhymes, telling a story. I think that was fucking dope. How I didn't even realize it, but I picked it up myself because I don't really look at the track listing the first time around when I'm listening to it. Then I happened to pick it up and I was like, oh shit, that's how he was talking about how the pride and this and this, that, and the vanity, and all the fucking greed and all that shit, gluttony, led to this person's downfall or whatever. So again, like I said, a lot of this shit has dope content on it, which Common never strays from, very rarely. I think that's the strongest point about this album. The cons, production, and I know that sounds surprising because of the shit I just said about No ID, but this is what's surprising me about it. The production on this album, even though Common did his best writing the beats and he had some songs where he switched up his flows, a little here, a little there, the production didn't really do much for me, because when I think No ID, I go back to those albums I mentioned. Those are seminal fucking Common albums. And this album, it seemed like the production was too catered towards a lot of these newer rappers. Like Big Sean was on here, who really, to be honest, just annoys the shit out of me. But these are beats that are more catered to him, or the female rapping on Hustle Harder. It seems like they would fit this type of production. Common, I need him over some dusty. I mean, let me not even say that, because that's not true, because Kanye West produced B, which was a fucking great album, and it was newer, but he still had that soul at that point, Common needs that soul, that dusty ass sound. And even Common's last album, shit, I forget the name of it. The one with the gold cover on it, or whatever it's called. I forget the name of it. But No ID produced a couple of tracks on there. It wasn't too bad. But this right here, production, really didn't do much for me. I don't want to sit here and act like it was the best thing since sliced bread. It really, production was very, I'll give it this, it was consistent, but it was very despondent. Even though that is the theme of the album, that's another thing that I will give it. It's called Nobody Smiling. It's supposed to be a dreary and despondent, but it just didn't really have that nod factor to me, like older Common records. And that was what dragged this album down for me. Also that, and the fact that there were a shitload of features on this bitch. But my rating of this album, I would give it a 4.5, maybe a 5 on a good day. Common held it down for the most part. As far as his end is concerned, No ID really didn't do it for me this time around. And that's my opinion, alright? Everybody else, y'all know the deal. Leave your love, leave your hate. Most of all, subscribe. Support dope shit, and that's it, alright? Peace, bitches.